Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening, morning, night. It depends on when you have decided to watch this video. I have somehow decided to record this video for the purpose of giving a bit of sharing about the writing of a film review, which is what I will try to jump straight into for today. So for SPM candidates who are keen on writing a film review, probably you can benefit from my sharing for today. Probably what I can do right now is let me just start sharing my screen first. I do encourage students to try and write film reviews if you feel like you have what it takes and you are a cinephile. I got that word from one of my students' writing, in which cinephile means people who love going to the cinema. So maybe you can use that in your film review as well. Okay, for the purpose of today's sharing, I'm going to start off with some materials on my Canva account. We will be looking at some tips and tricks, I believe, on how you can plan your writing of a film review. Okay, I'm going to just jump straight into it right now. I've got the question here. I think that the question for film review doesn't fall too far away from having you write reviews related to either comedy movies. Of course, there are many genres out there, but so far the ones that we have done for our internal examination, we have done comedy reviews. Okay, I might not have a full screen here. Let me just see if I can have a full screen. Yeah, we can have a full screen. Okay, so when it comes to writing reviews, what we're going to have a look at is how we can impress our SPM examiner, or probably at least reach a certain level in which you are eligible to receive good marks for your film review. So we're going to look at the first step, or maybe let's have a look at the question first. So this is the question that I have selected for our film review for today. Here it says, have you watched an interesting movie or film recently? That's the part of the question. The second bullet point here says that you should tell us why you like the film review. The third bullet point is, would you recommend it to your friends and why? So first thing that we would like to encourage our students to do is step number one is for you to analyze the question. Try not to rush into things too much because you might miss some important keywords. So number one is for you to read and understand the question requirement first. Number two, once you understand the question requirement, is for you to highlight the important keywords or phrases. And then please do try to understand what sort of review or type of review that you need to write. Because if it's meant to be a comedy movie, then it should be focusing more towards, how hilarious it is, how it has been able to make you feel like the jokes are really amusing for you. Okay, so that's just an example. Okay, so just understand what type of film review that you're supposed to be writing. Okay, once you have looked at the question, most probably what you would like to do is to highlight your question paper or maybe underline the question paper on the screen right now. As you can see, I've tried to do both. So the keywords that you might want to highlight for the question is the words or phrases movie or film. That's one thing. Okay, and then for the second bullet point, would you like to just let us know why you like the film? So underline that or highlight that. So in your film review, you must make sure that you tell us the reasons why you like the film instead of merely narrating or merely just regurgitating the words or phrases from the movie or just the synopsis of the movie, that is not a film review. You have to tell us the reasons behind why you like the film. Third bullet point is for you to tell us, is it worth watching? Would you recommend it to your friends? And what's the reason behind that? Again, as you can see, there are a lot of reasoning that needs to be done. So make sure that you are more of analyzing the film rather than giving us a synopsis. Okay, so the next step is for us to plan our essay. Okay, so when it comes to planning, we've got a few steps that we would like you to follow. Number one is, of course, for you to respond to the question rather than just blurting out any sentence that you would like regarding whatever it is about the movie. So if possible, respond to the keywords that you have highlighted just now. Number two is for you to use the keywords or phrases highlighted in order to guide you. So if we look at the words or phrases that we have highlighted just now, we can see that probably what you can do is use the words or phrases to decide on which ideas should be for paragraph number one, which ideas should be for the next paragraph, and so on. So use your highlighted words or phrases as guidance. Okay, number three is for you to include the background details of what you are reviewing. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to put that in the first paragraph. So we're going to look into what are the details that we might want to put for our film review for the first paragraph later on. Okay, step number four is for you to describe briefly what it is that you are reviewing. In which what we mean by that is, yes, you might need to provide a short summary of the film, or probably we also call it as a synopsis of the film, but not too much, because what we want to know is it worth watching, rather than having you retelling what is in the movie or the film. Step number five is, and this is the most important part actually, which carries a lot of weight for your content of your film review, in which you are supposed to provide us with opinions or an assessment of what you are reviewing. So we're talking about film review right now. So we want to know, why do you find the film worth watching? Would you recommend it to your friends? So these are the 5 steps. If I could just have it repeated. Number one, make sure you're responding to the question. Number two, use the highlighted keywords or phrases to guide you in the process of writing. And number three, include the background details of what you are reviewing. I'll go into further detail about what sort of details that you might want to put in your film review later on. And then step number four, make sure that you have a summary of the film, a little bit for people who do not know much about the film, to just have an overview of what the film is about. And number five is for you to ensure that there is some level of analysis that you're providing us when you are writing your film review. Okay, dokie. So right now we are going to move to another material that I have on my Google Classroom. Okay, we're going to Google Classroom right now, or the Delima platform. I've inserted a few materials that I do use to teach my own students. So we're looking at that right now. Probably taking a while. So this will be some of the materials that I have used. Okay, pardon me for the probably things that I would like to share for today. So let's start off with the sort of film that I would like to try and give as an example. So what we're doing right now for today, I've got an ISL collective video of a film called The Hunger Games. Probably what we can do right now is we are going to try and just watch a trailer of The Hunger Games, and then just insert some details so that we are all a bit more familiarized with the film review, with the film. And then, so the mode that I'm going with for our ISL collective video is the interactive mode, and I'm going to start right now. Okay, so in order for you to know a lot, in order for you to ensure that you are able to write a film review, of course, you have to know the story and the characters. So for the Hunger Games, the name is, let's just check and see whether it's correct, Primrose Everdeen. Okay, so that is the name of the main character's sister, and she's trying to save her sister from becoming a tribute. Okay, the only reason why I do play this ISL collective video with my pupils is so that we can just get ourselves to know a little bit about the characters and what's going on in the movie. So there are some questions which I feel might not be as relevant as the other questions, but never mind. So what does the woman say just now? She said, "Where are you?" And they are trying to select some people to somehow be sacrificed as a tribute. Although a tribute is a positive connotation for the word, for the situation there, but actually they are going to become sacrificed in the Hunger Games. Okay, so it's actually, where are you? Okay, and then we're going to move to the next question. Oh, come on. We are going to try and order. Okay, what the main character just now said is, "I volunteer." Okay, so I volunteer as tribute. Basically, that's what she says. So we can try and organize it again and try and see if we can get it correct. I volunteer as tribute. Basically, that is what she's trying to say. So when we are writing a film review about this particular film, most probably what we would like to see the pupils highlighting is the moral value behind the film, in which, as we can see, there is the love shown by the sister, in which actually her younger sister was selected as the tribute, but then she volunteers herself to be sacrificed instead of her sister. So what we would like to have pupils highlighting in the film review would be what they learn in the movie or film, rather than telling us on just simply narrating what happens in the film. So do tell us the moral values that you have learned in the film. Other than that, probably what you can include in your film review is the situation that you see in the film, the sort of feeling that it gives you. As we can see here just now, we can see how people in this particular film are all looking very, they are suffering. So there is a term for that, which I would like to share right now. Okay, people who do write film reviews, they have used this particular word, which is the word, let's just see if we can find it somewhere. I've already opened it. So when you do check the word dystopian, what it means is it is a state in which people are mostly suffering, and it gives you an eerie feeling. So do tell us in your watching the film, and what is the social setting. Okay, so if we look at that social film review just now for the Hunger Games, we can see that it relates to an imagined state. It's not real. It is an imagined state or society. There is a lot of great suffering, as you can see in the video just now, and there's a lot of injustice in which, you know, the people who are weaker are oppressed. Okay, so do use words or phrases that you have found when you have done your revision for your film review and include that in your analysis. Okay, so right now we are talking about the film, The Hunger Games, based on the video that we have watched just now, a little bit of it. So what we're going to try and do right now is just have a look at some of the steps that you can use. Okay, we've looked at steps, but maybe right now we can look at what are some of the details that I talked about just now that you can include in your film review. Okay, right now we're going to try and refer to a Form 4 textbook. There is a movie review in a Form 4 textbook. Okay, it is this one here. If we look at the steps or maybe some of the details, okay, it's not very clear here because this one is probably a screenshot taken and then included on this particular website, but I will try and read it out for you. Some of the general information that you can provide in your film review would be, what sort of genre is it? Number 2, you can tell us about the film stars. Number 3, you can tell us about the director. Was it a hit? Who directed it? Were they good directors? Why were they good directors? That would be some of the general information. For the second paragraph, you can start talking about the brief summary that we talked about, or the synopsis of the story. What was the film about? Okay, and then I think the most important part is, of course, the third paragraph. Maybe you can try and include what are some of the comments that you would like to make about the film, in which you can include some comments about the film's actors. How did they act? Okay, you can also give some comments about the soundtrack, maybe some special effects, costumes. Okay, and probably you can tell us whether you like the ending, maybe. Okay, before we do go into the conclusion, let's just have a look at some examples that have already been written by the pupils in my class. We did try it out. So we wrote it on Google document. Okay, I'll try and have a look at one first. One film review that has been attempted, this is an attempt by 5 Pro. We'll see what we can take from there and probably what we can improve on. Okay, so this film review is by 5 Pro after we have watched the ISL collective video and after we've got a little bit of, information about the film. Okay, so you start off with paragraph number 1 by writing, the film that I have watched recently is entitled, and then you insert the title, The Hunger Games. Okay. Second thing is you can try and include what sort of genre is it. Okay. The 5 Pro students in my class, they have decided that they wanted to categorize it as an adventure and a science fiction film. Okay. There are other genres that you can use as well. When it comes to genre, we've got romantic film, we've got adventure film, horror film, animated film, comedy. So you have to somehow suit the genre that you are writing with the correct type. Just make sure you use the correct type in order to ensure that you get your content marks. Okay, going back to the film review written by 5 Pro just now, after they have mentioned the type of film, okay, probably I can end it here because I think my battery is out right now, so I will continue in part 2. So I'll stop here. So just make sure that when you're writing your film review, start off with the title and then you can insert the genre. That would be your introduction. Okay, I'll see you in part 2 after this. And I'm going to end the recording.